If you want to understand how your mind works, how it heals, and how to protect your own internal library, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We explore the deep intersections of history, psychology, and neuroscience every single week, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Now, let's look at the blueprint of the brain. To understand what happens when a mind contacts trauma, we first have to meet the librarians. To understand what happens when the fire hits, we have to meet the three main librarians managing your internal archive. First, the hippocampus. Think of it as your head archivist. The hippocampus takes the raw, messy, chaotic data of your daily life, organizes it, stamps it with a precise time and date, and files it neatly away in the history stacks. It's the voice that whispers, "This happened 5 years ago. It's over now. We are safe." When life is peaceful, these three work in a flawless loop. You experience an event, the amygdala checks it for danger, the hippocampus logs it in the timeline, and the prefrontal cortex integrates it into your life story. When a human brain contacts a traumatic event, the security guard, the amygdala, takes complete control of the building. It hits the panic button. It floods the entire system with adrenaline and cortisol. In that exact moment, the priority isn't cataloging or filing. The priority is survival. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Because the amygdala needs all the energy it can get to save your life, it deliberately pulls the plug on the other departments. It cuts power to the prefrontal cortex, which is why, during a traumatic event, our capacity for logical thought and language often goes completely offline. We literally cannot find the words to describe what is happening. But the most devastating casualty of this emergency shutdown is the head librarian, the hippocampus. Under the crushing weight of stress hormones, the hippocampus goes offline. It drops its clipboard. The time and date stamping machine breaks. So, what happens to the memory of the event? It doesn't get turned into a neat, bound scroll placed safely on a shelf marked the past. Instead, the memory is shattered into raw, unintegrated fragments. A specific smell, a sudden flash of color, a tone of voice, a terrifying sensation of tightness in the chest. These fragments are left scattered all over the floor of the library while the smoke pours in. Because they were never given a date stamp, your brain doesn't know that the event is over. This is why trauma survivors suffer so deeply. When the historical Library of Alexandria burned, the records were simply gone. But when the library of the mind undergoes trauma, the records aren't entirely destroyed. They are displaced. They become lost scrolls that refuse to stay in the past. Weeks, months, or even decades later, a survivor might walk down a normal street. The sun is shining. They are completely safe. But suddenly, their eyes catch a specific shade of light, or their nose catches a particular scent. To a healthy brain, that's just a sensory input. But to a traumatized brain, that fragment matches one of the loose sheets left on the floor from the fire. The amygdala sees it, panics, and screams. The fire is happening right now. Because the hippocampus never stamped that file with a date, the brain cannot distinguish between then and now. The body relives the trauma in real time. The heart races, the palms sweat, the breath shortens. This is a flashback. It is the tragic phenomenon of a library that keeps burning over and over again in the present tense. Trauma doesn't just steal our past, it colonizes our present. It leaves us hypervigilant, constantly waiting for the next spark, standing guard over a collection of history that feels entirely unsafe to read. If this script ended here, it would be a tragedy worthy of the ancient world. But humans are not just passive witnesses to their internal fires. We are also the architects. The beauty of the human brain lies in a concept called neuroplasticity, the brain's lifelong ability to reorganize itself, to heal, and to grow new neural pathways. Alexandria could not rebuild its lost scrolls. The words of Hypatia and the maps of Eratosthenes were gone forever. But your library can heal. And it heals through targeted interventions, specialized clinical teams we can send into the ruins to help our internal librarians do their jobs. Consider EMDR, or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Think of EMDR as hiring a high-speed digital cataloging team. When a therapist guides a survivor through bilateral stimulation, like side-to-side eye movements or rhythmic tapping, it jumpstarts the brain's natural processing mechanisms, much like what happens during REM sleep. EMDR manually forces the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus back online while the traumatic memory is active. It takes those raw, terrifying, unorganized fragments, the smell of smoke, the flash of light, and begins rapidly sorting them. It acts as the head librarian's assistant, grabbing the loose pages from the floor, binding them into a cohesive story, and stamping them with a definitive date. Through EMDR, the brain finally files the memory away in the archives. It doesn't erase the book, but it closes the cover and puts it on a shelf marked "The Past." It cannot hurt us anymore. But what about the physical architecture of the library itself? The smoke that got trapped in the walls? That is where somatic experiencing comes in. Created by Dr. Peter Levine, this approach understands that the trauma isn't just trapped in our thoughts, it is trapped in our physiology. When the amygdala hit the alarm during the original crisis, the body generated a massive wave of survival energy to fight or flee. If we couldn't do either, that energy got locked inside our nervous system. The library doors warped from the heat. Somatic experiencing doesn't focus on the words of the story. Instead, it acts like a structural restoration crew, working from the ground up. It helps the survivor gently tune into their bodily sensations, the tightness in the chest, the trembling in the hands, and allows that trapped, ancient survival energy to finally release, or thaw. By trembling, crying, or deeply exhaling, the nervous system completes the survival circuit it couldn't finish years ago. It lets the smoke out of the building. It teaches the amygdala that the threat has passed, allowing the physical body to settle into a profound state of safety. We don't change what happened. We cannot unburn the wood. But together, these modalities pick up those scattered, fragmented pages and vent the toxic fumes from the rooms. The ancient world lost Alexandria, and we still feel the gap it left behind. But your story is not finished being written. The fire may have altered the architecture of your mind, but it does not get to write the final chapter. Take a deep breath, let the smoke clear. The librarians are going back to work. Thank you for spending this time inside the vault with me. If this exploration of trauma, history, and neuroplasticity resonated with you, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. Your support helps keep this archive growing. Until next time, be kind to your mind.